Signing in. Now, I'm not sure why people think that rates aren't going to be continually raised up until probably December. After that point, I'm not so clear as to whether it's going to continue to go up, they get halted, or they start pulling them back. Basically, once they start pulling them back, we're going to see something worse than a recession based on a negative yield curve. We do have some funny stuff coming up with November, midterms, so October there could be a surprise. But other than that, I might just cover liquidity pools just briefly. Now, this is going to be pretty hard to explain because it's hard to convince other people or teach them how, if they're providing liquidity at the moment, maybe through a Hedron USDC pair, they're probably making some okay fees because there's a bit of volume, same amount locked up, and there's a bit of daily turnover versus say HEX and Hedron, where at the moment there's not much turnover at all. Maybe people are selling Hedron for USDC and then doing what they will. Maybe they're buying HEX, maybe they're cashing out. Who knows what they're doing? But if you think about it, basically, if you envision a bubble, this is our current timeline. You then have decisions and they branch out to a different bubble. So that could be the potential timeline. You have many other potential futures that we could exist in, depending on how your decisions actually go. Because you might say, oh, I actually want to do this in the future. You take steps forward for it, but then you don't actually do anything. So you remain in the same position. Whether or not it comes to fruition is literally the timeline. So if you could imagine one particular timeline where maybe HEX and Hedron is the dominant pair. See, it could be because if you have Hedron increasing because maybe people are taking advantage of the HSIs that are being sold, have been sold to the contract, and then it's being put back on the open market to go to liquidity to be able to purchase it again. So basically the borrowable HEX has been claimed. It's been then put on the market to liquidate. Now, people might then bid on Hedron. My understanding is if the Hedron amount goes through, then you can actually claim, in essence, purchase that HSI. Now, taking into account other arbitrage opportunities, thinking of HEX, Hedron, and ICOSA, what the prices may or may not be, whether or not you have liquid, whether or not and how long you've staked for, the Watts will be probably locked in at that time because that's about to close out. There's a lot of moving parts, you could say. It's not too complex though. Basically, you might see in the future lots of HEX being purchased up, locked away, put in a HSI, sold to a contract maybe. It gets put on the market. Basically, then you can either, I guess, stake your Hedron, or you can actually use Hedron to buy more of these HSIs. This will increase the price of Hedron in theory, and also as more HEX is being locked up, that too may increase. And also over time, we do see the T shares, which are a function in essence of ICOSA, and Hedron for that matter, getting more scarce because they get more expensive. Hence, it becomes more difficult to obtain them. That is why in the future we'll probably see more expensive HEX. We'll definitely see more expensive HEX T shares. Potentially there might be some new chains that exist, and the price of Hedron will most likely be higher. So looking at a Hedron USDC pair currently, had you been in the liquidity pool, you're probably aware of this. I mean, there's lots of other people that know a lot more about this than me. With an increase in price, you would be left holding a lot more USDC. Now, is that beneficial for you? Are you going to sell that position and then buy more Hedron? I'm not too sure. What would you do with that? If, though, Hedron was increasing and you were left holding more HEX, arguably you could cash it out and create a HSI with it, create that, dump it into the contract, get it sold into the market, get some ICOSA depending on how much that is worth, and your existing existing Hedron would be then more valuable, because someone in 90 days time would possibly bid on it. Now, am I saying that no? To do that, no. I'm just saying this is one of many possibilities. When you think about it, whether or not that particular play is profitable or not does depend on many different factors, because I'm curious to see the next play on ICOSA and how that will be priced in, and where the arbitrage opportunities will be. Mind you, it is extremely early for this particular ICOSA and Hedron ecosphere that exists. Thank you to HEX and to T-shares, that it's probably too early at the moment to gauge roughly what will and won't happen. But it is good to see that there is lots of liquidity sitting in the HEX Hedron pools, although no one's at the moment taking advantage of that, though in the future they probably will come into play. All right, that's about it. That's all I got today. Hope that made sense. Again, do lots and lots of research. It's all out there. It's free. It's open. Look into it, people. I don't know how else to explain this. It's pretty simple. All right, signing out.